Every time I come to sit down and write about the Apple Watch, I find myself struggling. The company says this new Series 10 model is a
beautiful new design.
And they're right. But it doesn't look any different. I like the Apple Watch. It's quite convenient, and I've been wearing one for coming up 4 years now. I also don't like having an Apple Watch. It's quite expensive, and I've long disagreed with its whole form. Yes, this is a great watch, but I've always kind of hated what the Apple Watch is. Let me try to explain. What is it that makes this such a big redesign? Well, the Series 10's got a bigger screen and thinner profile. But while these two-dimensional changes are slim, they are still noticeable. It does seem to sit more comfortably under sleeves on my wrist. And I think I'm bashing tables and door frames less often too. While the bigger screen does enable for slightly more content to be displayed, you're not going to be getting whole extra message bubbles. Rather, far more useful is the larger typefaces and buttons, which is great for those with weakening eyesight. It's kind of comical looking on this, the larger 46mm Apple Watch, because the screen is actually slightly bigger than the one found on the Ultra model. I think the biggest benefit though will be for people who elect to get the smaller one, because now even the small watch gets a big screen. On the outside, the Apple Watch is now available in this sleek, polished jet black finish on the base model, and the premium finish has gone from using stainless steel to polished titanium, if you want to pay Ultra prices. Jet black is as shiny as the glass covering the OLED screen, which also has been incrementally improved. It's now brighter at a wider angle. Though I never really thought that the Series 6 I've been using was too dim on an angle. In the announcement, Apple made hay about the fact that the always-on display is now power efficient enough to show a second hand when dimmed. Finally, though, why hasn't this been a thing since the Series 5 was announced? Back then, they said the display could run between 1 and 60 Hz. That's why on the stopwatch on this Series 8, you can see the seconds go up even when dimmed. Watch faces don't get that privilege apparently. Until now. While I like that it does feel more watch-like with the second hand moving around, I can hear the phantom quartz movement in my head when I see it. It's a shame that only the two newest watch faces get it. The second hand on the existing watch faces still disappear. Oh, the Apple Watch is telling me my heart rate is up. Okay, let me rapid fire through the new features and I'll get to ranting later. The big headline new health feature with the Series 10 is the sleep apnea notifications. It's not exclusive to the Series 10, it's actually available on the Series 9 and Ultra 2 models as well. And a few weeks late, I'm pleased to report that it's available in Canada. Using the accelerometer, Apple detects movements at the wrist associated with breathing disturbances, which it then tallies in the Health app. Undiagnosed sleep apnea is a serious health concern, so learning that you have it could be extremely helpful. I gave an Ultra 2 to a colleague who thinks he has sleep apnea to see if it catches any of his sleep disturbances. Well, turns out he has no sleep disturbances. As for me, it appears that my breathing disturbances are not elevated. Now, if only I can just get to sleep earlier. Such a night owl. The Series 10 does have a blood oxygen sensor, which works in Canada. Unfortunately for US customers, Apple is still in a patent dispute with Masimo. This means that it's deactivated on your models. I haven't seen any updates on the matter, except for another matter where Apple won their patent dispute against Masimo for $250. It's possible when this gets resolved that the Series 9 will regain that functionality, but you can't make any guarantees and you don't know when and if that's going to happen. If you're an avid swimmer, there's a new depth app, cribbed from the Ultra model, though this won't go down deeper than 6 meters. It does tell the water temperature though. I actually tried it in my friend's hot tub, and yeah, the reading did match the heater's temperature setting. Fast charging is even faster. Apple claims that it can now get to 80% after only 30 minutes instead of 45 before, which is perfect for shower chargers like me. And in my testing, it actually got to 85%. And if you're away from your AirPods or iPhone, you can still listen to your podcast because the speaker supports media playback. It's pretty loud and clear, but I swear that was a feature on the first few generations of Apple Watch before it was removed. Let me know in the comments if I'm right or if I'm suffering from a Mandela effect. Okay, enough about the Series 10. The Apple Watch has been with us for almost a decade now, and it's remarkable how incremental the changes have been to this device. It's carved itself a niche as a pricey fitness tracker and smartwatch that works best with the iPhone. I like having a watch on my wrist because I'm terrible with time. Not that this helps me with that much. But what I do like about the Apple Watch are the gentle taps for navigation and reliable notifications. There aren't many apps, but there is one that opens the door to the office. The fitness tracking is handy on the occasion I do get to the gym or walk to a friend's house, and I really do love its sleep tracking and taptic alarm. It's the best way to wake up in the morning. But I'm also still frustrated with the Apple Watch. I'll explain why after a word from this video's sponsor, Squarespace. Want to simply and quickly make a website? Squarespace has a ton of templates available for everything you need, and they're optimized for screen-sized mobile to giant. If it's for your growing business, integrate with platforms you might already use, thanks to a wide variety of extensions on offer. We use Squarespace here at Linus Media Group, so get started today at squarespace.com/MacAddress to get 10% off your first purchase. Really, from a design standpoint, I've never really had an opportunity to talk about this. But I don't think the Apple Watch is cool. They tried really hard when it first came out to make it cool, but the mistake was making it square. Square watches, though they have a place, are dorky. It's not a deal breaker, but then there are the watch faces. Sure, Apple's are fine, but they are all very samey. It's also very soft and rounded off, from the bars and dials of the complications to the analog hands. Everything must use the same rounded San Francisco typeface, and all analog faces have the exact same watch hands. Apple has touted this as their most personal product, and yet every time I look at it, it's just so boring. Every new face option is just really a fancy wallpaper. And when it comes to complications, yeah, I guess there's a lot of options, but there's really only 3 different types to choose from, 2 at best. That's it. I know that Wear OS isn't as good an operating system, but when I go into the Play Store and see all those interesting designs that people can sell as watch faces, I get very envious. I want that. I mean, look at this cool retro-segmented digital face with a glowing backlight effect, or this richly detailed analog face with unique hands. Or better still, check out this hybrid face. These faces are about $1 to $2 each, but this is personalization. Google even has a whole customizable API and Studio app that enables this sort of design customization. And I really don't understand why the designers at Apple are lacking in inspiration. Unless, earlier this year, the American Department of Justice Antitrust Division filed a lawsuit against Apple. In it, they allege a lot of things, but they devoted one whole section to the Apple Watch. In it, they say, quote, "By suppressing key functions of third-party smartwatches, including the ability to respond to notifications and messages and to maintain consistent connections with the iPhone, Apple has denied users access to high-performing smartwatches with preferred styling, better user interfaces and services, or better batteries, and it has harmed smartwatch developers by decreasing their ability to innovate and sell products." I think the Apple Watch can be better, but it doesn't have to be. There's few opportunities for outside ideas, and as I lamented when I used the Apple Watch as my only device last year, it's too tied to the iPhone to fully realize its potential. It's also quite expensive. I think that if you are interested in an Apple Watch right now, the Series 10 is the one to get. It is a sizable jump from the $250 Apple Watch SE, which is a thoroughly constrained option. It means that the de facto price of entry for a smartwatch for iPhone users is $400. I won't be upgrading from a Series 6 because last year's battery replacement I did has it ticking like new. But what if you have, say, a Series 4? Well, then you have to answer yourself how pleased you are with your Apple Watch. If it's proved its usefulness, or you like the Apple Watch faces, then the Series 10 will be great. Apple seems to be very pleased with how the Apple Watch works. Still wish I was. Thanks for adding the second hand to this MAC address. I'm curious in the comments below who of you miss skeuomorphism, because that'd be really nice on an Apple Watch. And if you want to watch another video I did, watch the video where I used an Apple Watch as my only device for a whole week. The result was actually surprising.